We will be speaking on dramatic monologue, Robert Browning, and My Last Duchess. Dramatic monologue is a speech of an individual character. It is when a person is speaking alone. That is dramatic monologue. The situation is very dramatic. It is highly loaded. It is highly vivid. It is highly dramatic. नाटकीय situation है और the person is speaking alone. Dramatic and monologue. The two words are self explanatory, dramatic and monologue. So, monologue is, of course, made up of mono. Mono means one, mono acting, and monosyllable, and monologue. So, that is one. And dia means two, dialogue. Dialogue is between two people, and monologue is when one person is speaking. Now, a very natural question arises in the mind of any student of literature as to what is the difference between a dramatic monologue and a soliloquy. Soliloquy is also when a person is speaking alone. And dramatic monologue is also when a person is speaking alone. So, what is the difference between the two? In a soliloquy, a person is lost in herself. A person is lost in himself. A person is deep into thought. That person is not aware of any dramatic situation or anybody listening. That person is in a different state of mind altogether. In a dramatic monologue, the character is speaking to an imaginary audience. काल्पनिक श्रोता से वो बात कर रहा है. ड्रामेटिक मोनोलॉग में सिचुएशन ड्रामेटिक है. द कैरेक्टर इज वेरी powerful in a very conscious state of mind, and that character in her mind or in his mind is addressing an imaginary audience. जिसे कई बार हम बात करते हैं इंटरव्यू देने जाना, उसके पहले हम कल्पना कर लेते हैं कि दीदी इंटरव्यू बोर्ड है और हम बात कर रहे हैं. So when we imagine an audience and speak, that is dramatic monologue. That is the content of a poem called dramatic monologue. The scene is very vivid, and one thing very special about dramatic monologue, that it reveals the person. कई बारी जब हम बात करते हैं तो हम बहुत सारी वो चीज़ें बता जाते हैं जो हम बताना नहीं चाहते हैं. बहुत कुछ छलक जाता है, बहुत कुछ छलक जाता है. The person reveals hidden complexes and psychology and family history and so many things. So, a dramatic monologue is a very revealing kind of a poem. It reveals the person who's speaking. It started from folk. This is a folk-originated form of poetry. Robert Burns, of course, he wrote dramatic monologues. And the characterization is very subtle. In dramatic monologues, the characterization is very detailed. All the details of the characters, I mean, you're able to understand the grain of the character. ऐसा होता है. The situation is very complex. The dramatic situation is very complex. There is a context. There is an outcome. काफी layered situation है. And one thing again to be noted about dramatic monologue is that the reader has to piece together the information. सब बात कही नहीं जाती है, हर बात कहने की नहीं होती है, कुछ बात समझने की होती है. So, in a dramatic monologue, the reader has to piece the information. So, jigsaw puzzle जैसा है. You have to, not very difficult, of course. The inference is very obvious, is very clear, but you have to draw your own inference. You have to interpret. So that is a dramatic monologue. And Robert Browning, of course, the name of Robert Browning is synonymous with dramatic monologue. No one else has been able to write the kind of dramatic monologues Robert Browning has written. He's written unparalleled dramatic monologues. After him, of course, Ezra Pound wrote The River Merchant's Wife, and we all know T.S. Eliot, वो जो हॉस्पिटल टेबल पर है. The Love Song of Alfred J. Prufrock by T.S. Eliot, and Robert Frost wrote The Pauper with the Grafton. वो उसका उनका है. But no one like Robert Browning. 1812 to 1889, Robert Browning, the English poet, he wrote masterpieces. His dramatic monologues are full of dark themes and dark humor and bitter irony and layered irony, you can say. तो वैसे जैसे कि धड़ाम से कोई चीज़ एकदम आपके सामने ला करके रख दी, इस तरह के उनके ड्रामेटिक मोनोलॉग्स हैं. वेरी शेकिंग and very powerful. They reveal historical details, they reveal psychological details, and he comments on society, social practices, and his terminology, his vocabulary is so unusual. Unusual phrases, unusual vocabulary, ekdam se striking. Very striking dramatic monologues. So this is how it is. My Last Duchess is a masterpiece. It's a poem, one of its kind. ड्रामेटिक मोनोलॉग आपको ऐसा मिलेगा नहीं where the Italian aristocrat, the Duke, is showing off a portrait of his last wife, the last Duchess, who's no more, who has died. And he is showing off the portrait of the last Duchess, and in the process, he reveals his own character. He reveals his own cruelty. He reveals his own complexes. He reveals his crime. He reveals his complexive mind, the patriarchal mindset, and the inhumanity. He is an inhuman person. So while showing off the portrait of his wife, he shows himself. That is the essence of My Last Duchess. He says, that's my last Duchess painted on the wall, looking as if she were alive. I call that piece a wonder now. Fra Pandolf hands worked busily a day, and there she stands. ये देखिए मेरी वाइफ की तस्वीर है, पोर्ट्रेट है वॉल पर. द पेंटर केम एंड ही वर्कड फॉर अ डे एंड ही हैज प्रोड्यूस्ड दिस मास्टरपीस. लुक एट माय वाइफ. And immediately after that, he says, how could the painter catch the beauty of my wife? एकदम से मतलब it's such a shocking turn there. He says that how could the painter capture the countenance, the beauty, depth of emotions, and the sincere glance, and the passion that my wife is. ये सारी चीजें उस पेंटर ने कैसे देखी? How come? How did she reveal her beauty to this pen painter? He's deeply jealous. He's deeply jealous. He's burning with jealousy. And then he says, "Ki, now only I draw the curtain. No painter, nothing, no one else. I draw the curtain on her face and I take off the curtain of her face. It is me now." How such a glance came there? How such a glance came there? So, not the first are you to turn and ask thus, "Sir, it was not her husband's presence only that called a spot of joy into the Duchess' cheek. It was not the presence of her husband only that brought a smile on her face." ऐसी थी. She, my wife was like, she smiled profusely. She smiled at everyone. Why she revealed, how she revealed her beauty to the painter? He must have complimented her, कुछ तारीफ कर दी होगी उसने. And she must have smiled in all her innocence, in all her beauty. She was easily pleased. She was easily impressed. She laughed too easily. She looked everywhere. हर जगह देखती बहुत थी वो. जहां उसकी नजर जाती थी वहीं वो देखती थी. क्यों देखती थी? That is his psychology. That is his approach towards a human being, towards his wife. He says that how could she reveal her beauty to the painter? How could the painter see her beauty? Says that I might love her, or she might bask in the sun, or if a servant brought some cherries, some fruits, or she was riding a horse, anything, whatever. She blushed, she smiled, the same smile, the same blushing. तो कोई फर्क ही नहीं हुआ. मेरा खानदान, मेरा नाम, I have given her my 900-year-old name. How could she equate my gift to some petty gift of somebody, some fool? Some fool brought her a gift and she smiled. She compared, I gave her, मैंने उसको अपना नाम दिया. इतना अभिमानी है वो. This is how he says that. And अब बोले कौन? I will not stoop down. I will not tell my wife that you disgust me, or you are overdoing things, or you're missing something. इतना कौन झुकता है बीवी के सामने? I am not going to bow down. This is stooping. This is below my level. I will not do it, he says. Says, I never told her you are doing. अरे किस कौन गिड़गिड़ाए वाइफ के सामने ऐसे बोले? No, not me. I am not stooping down, he says. I am not stooping down and requesting her not to do, or telling her that you do not, that I do not like this, and you should not do this, or your behavior is objectionable, or whatever. He says that I will. This is stooping, this is bowing down, and I did not do that. Whenever I passed, she smiled. Whenever anybody else passed, she smiled. She thanked everybody. वो दूसरा थैंक यू कहाँ से लाती? Thanked everybody. She thanked everybody. So all smiles grew and thank yous grew so much. This grew. I gave commands. Then all smiles stopped together. There she stands as if alive. बहुत हंस रही थी, हंसी काफी बढ़ रही थी. मैंने आदेश दे दिया और अब वो खड़ी है मुर्दा. जैसे कि जिंदा हो. This is his psychology, this is his approach. And then he says that, okay, and a new party has come for his marriage again. Some other count has come for his daughter's hand, and he's ready to marry again. And he says, let us go down. I have shown you my wife, my last Duchess. Let's go down and let's go to the drawing room and sit. ऐसा पूरा उसका कैरेक्टर निकल के आता है. That the Duke is speaking in his mind to a marriage party who have come for a proposal. With a proposal they have come, and he is showing them the portrait of his last Duchess. तो वैसे तो ये लास्ट टचेस की पोर्ट्रेट है, पर ये पोर्ट्रेट असली में जो दिखती है रीडर को वो ड्यूक की है. The male psychology, patriarchal mindset, the feudal mindset, the complexive mindset, the torture of women, the condition of women. मतलब बहुत सारा कुछ इस कविता में रॉबर्ट ब्राउनिंग ने कहा है. He has given voice to that voiceless, innocent, chubby, chirpy last Duchess. That is smiling and speaking and a gentle lady that the last Duchess was. And she didn't even know her flaw. She didn't even know her fault. Her husband never told her anything. And then she was killed. Her voice was stifled forever. She died. And the man is here again, ready to marry again. So Robert Browning could be that progressive, he could be that broad-minded in the 19th century. He has given voice to the last Duchess. It's a highly dramatic monologue. Dramatic monologue is that, as the name is suggested, it's a highly dramatic monologue. Very dramatic monologue. It shakes you. It makes you see things as they are, raw, very raw. So this is how it is. This is about dramatic monologue, Robert Browning, and my last Duchess. Everybody, it's not a long poem. Dramatic monologues are not long at all. शॉर्ट पोयम, छोटी सी कविता में एक जीवंत दृश्य आपके सामने उन्होंने रखा है. बहुत ही अच्छी कविता है, पढ़नी चाहिए, समझनी चाहिए और पूरा उसका कॉन्टेक्स्ट समझना चाहिए. सो दिस इज हाउ इट इज. थैंक यू सो मच.